You're on Team Human, where we challenge the operating systems driving our society, reveal the embedded codes, and share strategies for sustainable living, economic justice, and preservation of the quirky nooks and crannies that make people so much more than mere programs. This is where the conscious beats the automatic, an intervention by people on behalf of people. I'm Douglas Rushkoff, and I'm on Team Human. Playing for Team Human today, author, filmmaker, and activist Astra Taylor.
So many of the things that we value about democracy have to be credited to people who were on the margins, who weren't at the center, who weren't the elite.
Astra will be explaining how democracy may not exist, but we'll miss it when it's gone. It's time to intervene on behalf of people. I'm Douglas Rushkoff, and you're on Team Human. So we're back after a long month of hiatus. I was expecting some complaints, but in addition to the well wishes, we got a lot of thanks from people who actually appreciated having some time to keep up with our episodes. There's a lot of content out there, and Team Human in particular, I think it leaves people with a whole lot to think about. So we're going to try releasing episodes every other week for a while, allowing us to put more thought into each one and hopefully allowing our listeners some time to process what we're doing. My own brief remove from the media circus has helped me to see some of what's happening a bit more clearly, I think, especially the way the mainstream media news has allowed itself to become an extension or a reaction to Donald Trump's reality TV programming. I mean, most of us are forgetting that Trump's main claim to fame is he was a reality TV star and producer. That's how he crafted the story of himself as a self-made billionaire. And on reality TV, we got to remember, the footage may be real or real enough, so it lends an air of authenticity to the stories, which are actually fake, right? The sequences are edited out of order. A character's lines from one scene are spliced together with someone else's dialogue from another, and then made to look like a conversation. So the shots may be real, but the reality they convey is entirely up to the editor. And that's okay. It's what reality TV is. It was a kind of television that was made in the editing room because the writers were on strike and they couldn't do scripted television, so they needed to do the scripting afterwards based on all this footage that they had. But as long as television networks continue to passively broadcast the things that Trump recounts, the labels he creates, the factoids he tweets, then they're assembling a reality show on his behalf. He becomes the editor-in-chief, and he's being given final cut. So, just this month, Trump has charged Attorney General William Barr with selectively releasing classified information about U.S. intelligence operations. His stated objective is to construct a narrative of treason against James Comey and Andrew McCabe and some of the others even higher up. And this has nothing to do with researching what happened and conveying reality to the American public. Rather, as editor-in-chief of the reality show that's taken the place of television news, he simply releases whichever details can be juxtaposed to tell the story he wants to convey. The individual details may be real, but the product is only as real as reality TV. So likewise, in the style of Real Housewives editors, like slowing down footage in order to make some minor disagreement appear to be an all-out catfight, Trump's amateur production minions, they slow down some Nancy Pelosi footage or cut together a bunch of stammers to make her appear drunk or senile. It's perfect footage for the president and Giuliani to put in their Twitter feed and to say, oh, she's losing it. But it's not real, or it's real but not real. Reality TV production, it also takes the form of labeling real-world pictures with untrue text. So a photo of refugees fleeing violence in Syria, those are terrorists. Children in cages in Texas, Those are animals and rapists. Nancy Pelosi, she's lost it. The trick here, as in all reality TV, is to juxtapose image to image to word, so that the audience can connect the dots and then form the intended narrative, as if they're participating in piecing it all together. It's the gateway drug to conspiracy theory, which is ultimately where any demagogue propagandist wants its audience to go, right? Climate change is a hoax perpetrated by the global elite to disempower American coal workers, or the Jews are opening the borders to Mexicans who will attack our women and take our jobs. Release decontextualized memes in the right order, and the audience will do the rest. It may be comforting on some level to think of Trump as some sort of feckless Homer Simpson, like he's portrayed on Stephen Colbert's satirical show, Our Cartoon President, sitting glued to Fox News and CNN with a Big Mac in one hand and the remote in the other. But he's not a passive television viewer. He is the world's most influential television producer. He's not watching television for how he's being portrayed so much as for how his inputs are percolating through the system so he can adjust his messaging. Trump is like a living Facebook algorithm, studying how his every move translates into content, and he's fine-tuning his approach accordingly. When he watches TV, he's doing his job as he's defined it, and he's doing well. No matter the New York Times justifications to itself, a table listing Trump's favorite insults for each of the Democratic candidates is not news fit to print. The piece goes on to studiously document and link to the first time each insult was used in the manner of a fan wiki, both fetishizing the name calling and further anchoring the most policy-driven candidate, Elizabeth Warren, as a Native American slur. Worse still is when the media tries to fight back against Trump on his own terms, applying the rules of reality television to their journalism. It was a UK newspaper, The Sun, that set up the tabloid trap for Trump on the eve of his visit to London. They ambushed him with some comments by Meghan Markle that she made before she was even a royal, before he was the president. In response to learning that she had called him a misogynist, Trump said he did not know that she had been nasty, but thought she'd be a great royal. And everyone from MSNBC to the New York Times, they seized solely on the word nasty, emphasizing the word in their coverage to make it seem as though Trump had called the Duchess a nasty woman. And the press went on to build up the possibility and blow-by-blow coverage of a lunchtime palace row between Trump and Prince Harry in the style of a Mob Wives preview. So instead of the news, we get repeated splices of the word nasty and Meghan Markle, with journalists doing the name-calling. So when Trump denies calling Markle nasty, they say he's lying. When he explains how he did use the word, they say he's enacting an Orwellian disinformation campaign. But in reality, all that's happened is that the Duchess and nastiness have been effectively edited together. A new reality brought to you at least as much by a dependably outraged press as by a president who knows how to play them. He didn't even really say it. They did. I don't mean to scold anyone in the beleaguered and vilified press. I am writing in solidarity, looking at some of my fallen peers and shouting, "Soldiers down!" These journalists have fallen prey to the Trump effect. They are complicit in something they can't even see anymore. What do I have to tell them? I guess just stop. Don't print this stuff. Don't play this game. This is all part of the show. Stop feeding the trolls. This is a feedback loop. The news media can change everything, even Trump, by choosing to respond differently. But so can we.